Hey everyone, Robert Nixon here with Robert Nixon Real Estate. I'm here with Catherine Temple of Go Campbell River and Go Hiking Vancouver Island. So we're going to do a quick interview with her, but we decided to do something a little different. We did a profile assessment on personality with her, just because that's something we just did at an event we were at, and I've actually kind of started to grasp like a better understanding of it a little bit. So I thought it was something interesting to do, and she was willing to cooperate. So the different profiles are gold mine, which is likes lists, likes to be organized, uses lists. So sort of organized, has to have a system in place. Green planet is sort of, I don't know, I think of them as stubborn maybe because I'm a green, but has to be right, thinks they're right, is quite smart, and is all about like math and numbers and stuff. Orange sky is, what's orange sky again? Orange sky is like flaky, sort of, or thrill seeker, or short attention span. Artsy fartsy would be, I guess, a nicer way of saying it. Besides, but yeah, like their brain to be active, doesn't want to sit there and listen to numbers and stuff all the time. So the opposite of a green, maybe. Blue ocean is like a connection. I gotta have a connection with someone, and like touchy feely, wants to have a hug, right? The people that hug you or get close to you when they're talking. So we did hers, and she was a high gold mine. And next was Green Planet. So you sort of go with the top two or the primary ones. So high gold mine. So do you think that describes you? Like,
oh God, yeah.
You're organized. You like to use checklists and have systems in place.
I got lists everywhere, all over my house.
And then the Green Planet would be about numbers and how things work and think you're better than everyone else.
Well, not so much that.
It's funny. He really dives into that when he does his description on it. So I always glob onto it because I mean I'm sure we don't actually think that, but sometimes we can come off as that.
Yeah.
As a green, like thinking you know everything. And I don't know. So that's probably me. Sometimes I see that in myself.
I can't see that I necessarily do that.
No, but you're a lower green too, right? So it would be less of that. You'd be more gold mine.
Yeah.
Which I think is the most common.
I'm all about numbers.
So that'd be the green side.
And I'm happy.
And we're all different, of course, right? These aren't exact descriptions of people, but I don't know. I thought it was quite interesting. So they use that sort of to figure out how people work and how you interact with certain people, right? So, anyways, I don't know.
So how do we interact? I gave him a kiss. Look at
yeah, right. So where's Blue Ocean? She was the lowest though, so
yeah,
maybe she's got some hot
touchy feeling.
Maybe she just really likes me.
I do.
Because I'm special. So, anyways, do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, I'm Catherine from GoCampbellRiver.com and Go Hiking Vancouver Island. What else do you want to know? Been around here in Campbell River since 1981. Took my tourism marketing diploma up until 1984 and then went for my hotel restaurant management diploma after that. So I have 2 diplomas. I've had a adventure tour company here in town. I've had a couple of different companies, but...
have you always been self-employed for a long time?
A long time. I mean, I worked for
like...
a big marine group for 9 years. I was the bar manager at Painters for a number of years out of that and did corporate sales for them as well. But most of the time, I've been pretty much self-employed. At the beginning of my career, I did startups, like restaurant startups. I actually, the Willows, the Royal Coachman, the Grapevine Bistro, Painters Lodge, that's how I ended up there. They hired me to help them open their restaurants.
Okay, cool.
So other than that,
but for a long time, you've been just doing stuff yourself?
I've been self-employed pretty much straight through since 1994, I'm going to say 1995.
So she knows what it takes. Maybe we should be asking her some questions on the side about how to run businesses. So we got some...
prepared to work a lot.
Yeah, exactly. What do you mean I can't make my own hours? Am I going to be self-employed?
Oh, you can. You can pick whatever 12 hours you want to work a day.
Yeah, and whatever hours everyone else wants you to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a false misconception, but I mean, there is benefits to working for yourself for sure.
Yeah.
So the fans turned off. You're the owner of Go Campbell River and Go Hiking.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you become the owner, and how did you come up with the idea?
Well,
sorry. First of all, I don't know if you don't know anyone that's watching who GoCampbellRiver.com. I mean, I knew Catherine through my aunt, so I knew what it was. But if you actually pay attention to Google stuff, it does come up quite often, so it's quite high in the search ranking. I think she said it was the most. Didn't you say it was the most traffic next to Mount Washington's website for the North Island?
Yeah, for the North Island. Yeah, we get about 200,000 visits a year. Those are unique visits.
So you've probably seen it out
close
there.
To about 400,000 page views.
Yeah, crazy. So, anyways, how did you come up with ideas?
Well, originally with Go Campbell River, I came up with that because years ago, I actually launched it in 2011, so it's been around for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
But prior to that, we had lots of challenges in our tourism industry, and I thought, you know what? I had taken some website courses, and I thought, oh, I'm going to throw together a website for Campbell River. And I realized that I couldn't do tourism without real estate. And I couldn't do real estate without mortgage brokers. And I couldn't do real estate without everything that supported that. So I decided that I was just going to go for it and put all the businesses on it. So now Go Campbell River is pretty comprehensive. It's got everything you need on it.
So is almost every business in Campbell River on there?
If they're not on there, they should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I think there's about 1,800 of them. And it's not just the city of Campbell River. It's also Quadra Island. We touch on Sayward, Gold River,
surrounding areas,
as well as Merville and Oyster River area. So it's the regional district as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Which is one of the things that really differentiates it, because we don't just look after Campbell River.
Yeah, and most people, I think, lump that in that don't know, but it's good to specify for sure.
Yeah.
Like people think of the regional district and Stories Beach and stuff as Campbell River, but it is a regional district, right? Yeah, for sure.
Leave them out.
Cool. So what did you do before becoming, well, I already sort of went over that briefly, but what did you do before becoming the owner of Go Campbell River and Go Hiking Vancouver Island? Are there any other businesses that you owned currently or owned or did own? So I think before that.
Prior to Go Campbell River, I started in 1994 Campbell River Snorkel Tours.
Right.
It started off as Paradise Down Adventure Tours, which was designed to actually do hiking tours, because I'm a hiker, climber, have been for years and years. And so I went and got certified and decided that I was going to go and do hiking, and I got a call from the Visitor Information Center asking to take some people down the river, because they knew that I had done that, because I was also a diver at the time. Okay. And they asked me to take some people down the river. So I kind of said, okay, I guess I could do that. So I did it once, and then they phoned me again and asked me to do it again. And I thought, okay, nobody's doing this, and it's becoming a very popular thing to do. So I went out and got some insurance and bought a bus, and we started Campbell River Snorkel Tours. And within, that would have been 96 that we really launched it. By 1998, we had a group of people coming in from Vancouver that were media coordinators for Tourism BC. And I arranged everything for them to come here, and we bamboozled them for the weekend. They had such a good time. And one of the girls that came promoted us through a writer. She wrote an article on us and won the Northern Lights Tourism Award for that article, which meant that she received it in front of 2,500 journalists. The year following that, we had 45 journalists on our tours. And we hit the international media in a big way. So Campbell River Snorkel Tours exploded, as well as the whale watching tours, which were very few at that time, and the bear watching tours, which there was only really one person doing that at that time. So
yeah, there's lots now.
Everything kind of exploded. So we essentially put the adventure tourism product on the map for Campbell River.
Yeah, and that's quite a cool experience if anyone's never done it. I've done it twice now, and to actually have goggles and a snorkel on and see all the salmon and massive Chinooks right under you. It's crazy. And the pinks.
We were talking about it the other day, and we figured that I've been down the river about 1,200 times.
Really?
I know.
Do you still go do it then?
Pardon me?
Do you still go do it?
I do. I did it a couple of times last year. So it wasn't a real great year for salmon last year, but was it 3 years ago? My God, there were so many pinks in that river. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I think I did it 3 years ago and last year, and I thought both were good. But last year wasn't as busy. Hopefully this year we get a good run. Now that fishing's open, maybe some people catch some stuff.
Yeah, well, it's the Chinooks you got to worry about. The pinks seem to be doing okay.
Yeah, I'm happy with pink salmon. They taste good. Is there anything you wish you had known before starting out?
Any of these?
Well, just running a business, I guess, in general.
I was in kind of a unique position, because one of the things that I find that most people make the mistake of in starting a business is they budget for starting the business, but they don't budget for marketing. And I was lucky because I had a diploma in marketing, so I understood what marketing meant, and I could really do it on a shoestring budget. But I would highly suggest that anybody that's thinking about building a business or starting a business to really delve into the marketing end of it, because you can spend $250,000 putting a restaurant together, and if you've left no money for marketing, you got no one coming through the front door. And I don't mean just going out and buying this and buying that and buying that. I mean setting up a strategy for marketing. It's one of the things that I do through Go Campbell River. Is I actually contract with people to do marketing plans. And I am absolutely amazed at how marketing illiterate most people are when they start a business. And yet you look at the people that are most successful, and they're the ones that spend the majority of their money when they start off their business on their marketing.
I spent quite a bit on marketing. I do, and right? I did, but I didn't know anything about it when I got into the business. Like a couple things, like my bus benches, it was like my coach was like, do this, and I just did what he said, right?
Yeah, so you got lucky. Yep.
So having someone there to teach you, maybe if you don't know it or don't have the time to go take a course on it, might help.
Yeah,
coaching's huge, idea. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, marketing.
It's like that's not the only thing. Just be prepared to really, first of all, be uber flexible. Because you may think that you've got 5 widgets in front of you that you're going to be selling, and you may think that this widget over here is the one everyone's going to buy. And then all of a sudden you realize that they're buying this one over here. Mm-hmm. Or you've got a product that everybody's buying, but you're not making any money on it. You know, and I see that happening over and over and over again, where people have these lost leaders, like, oh my God, I sold 10,000 of this particular item this month. Except for you made 3 cents per item. You're not making any money. Know where you're making your money. Right. Keep on top of where you're
and know where you're with the marketing end of it. Know where your business is coming from.
We'll know where it's coming.
That's something we've really narrowed down on this, just tracking where all our business comes from, and
it's very, very important. And
helpful.
that in
throwing money
in
away
that,
doesn't make sense.
I mean, we could go on and on about marketing.
Yeah.
But with thinking about that, another part about it is know your competition and know what they're doing and what they're selling. You know, like get out there and do the research. Like, I actually used to do business plans for people. There's a couple of businesses in town that are actually very successful that I help them write their business plans. And I stopped doing that. And the reason I stopped doing it is because you need to do your own business plan.
Yeah,
I mean, you can be guided along.
But you need to have the ideas, and it needs to be your idea, your plan, right?
Yeah, well, and your ideas and your reality. Because if you've got a cup, if you're selling, say, a cup of coffee, because one of the businesses that I helped get started was a coffee shop. Now, you're selling that cup of coffee, but you also have to take in consideration the cream, the sugar, the time it takes to build it, what your waste products are going to be, and all of that stuff. Now, your coffee may cost you 32 cents, and everything that goes into it may cost you 32 cents. So all of a sudden, say if you're running that and you're selling it for $1, your cost of sales just doubled. And you got to know you're not making any money anymore.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
So these are the types of things when you're doing your business plan, you have to know your own numbers. And that's important. That's the green
numbers.
In me.
Numbers. Well, I'm funny because I'm green. I'm about numbers, but I don't know how good I am with my own numbers sometimes. We're getting better, though.
Well, that's why you have a wife.
That's why I have an assistant to track everything. Help me. Wife assistant.
Executive.
The boss, right? Yep. At least let her think that. So I'm sure everyone's had this, but what was actually... Sorry. What makes you passionate about what you do? What I found actually kind of interesting, though, because we talked for a few minutes on the phone last night, and what I sort of saw is you have a passion. Well, I think you even said it. You have a passion for starting things, right, and getting them going, which is also a green personality, where you like to start things, but maybe not like to continue them after, or sometimes not finish them, which I find with me too. Like, you get bored easily, right? So for you, maybe like building stuff from the beginning is something you really like to do, and then hand it off, right?
Yeah.
Which can be good because you can build something up really good, like Go Campbell River, and then potentially make some money off it and move on, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, what makes you passionate, though, from your perspective?
I like creating. I like building something from nothing, like you had said.
Yeah.
In terms of the passion for the community, I love Campbell River. I think that we are the luckiest people on the freaking planet to be living here.
Yeah,
I mean, when you think about what we've got here, we've got clean air, we've got clean water, we've got a safe environment to grow our children up. You know, we've got so many things that we can do. If you're an outdoors person, this is the place to be. There's no question about that. We have everything in world-class levels. We have world-class diving and world-class skiing in the same day. And world-class golfing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you're doing here. We've got it all, you know. And that's one of the things in building Go Campbell River I really found out. Like, if you go into the outdoor activities section of the site, it's full. I mean, it is full of all kinds. I think there's like 32 sections in there, and each one of those sections has got like 10 different options of what you can go do and play. It's just, there's so much here. So that impassions me.
There is. I know, and I'm guilty of not doing enough of that stuff, even though we live here. Gotta get out and do it more. We should go to that site and pick one. But yeah, Campbell River's great. And I think it's changed a lot since, I mean, I did my pre-apprenticeship here in 2006 for heavy duty mechanics, or equipment tech or whatever, but like when the mill shut down, but in that time, since the last 13 years, or when did the mill shut down?
Oh, I think it was 2008, I think.
Yeah,
That's like
so
10 years
11,
ago,
11
right?
years, 10
Yeah,
years
10
ago, yeah.
years.
So that's a lot.
Yeah,
The
that'd
Campbell
be
River's just
cool,
changed
yeah.
a lot, and it seems a lot more,
Oh, yeah.
people want to be here and stuff more. And
Yeah,
it's a lot more.
yeah. I always knew that it would end up going in this direction.
Yeah.
And that is one of the reasons why I started Go Hiking Vancouver Island. I mean, I've been a climber for years. And the days when we were hiking up Kings Peak, you would never see anybody up there. I saw Chris Fulber up there from the Java Shack once, and he was carrying his board up there, and he was going to board down all the way down. It was really cool because the cull's really neat. It's like a 3,000-foot snowfield.
Snowboard. Cool.
Yeah. We bum skied down, but what the heck? It didn't matter, you know.
Yeah, cool. I've never been up there.
I mean, that would have been a rare occasion to see anybody up there, and now it's a steady stream of people going up. It's just crazy.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
So is there anything you failed at during your career, and how would you do it differently now?
Well, my attitude is if you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah.
You have to fail. You have to keep failing because that's how you get better at what you're doing. And I know that's a pretty hard pill to swallow, and God knows I've swallowed my pills over the years, you know. I think that every time that I've learned something that I've looked at as a failure, I've been able to flip it around and say, okay, that didn't work.
How can I change that?
What can I change that? Or what is it in me that the way I'm thinking that has caused me to have made that kind of a mistake that I made? I had one years ago when I had Campbell River snorkel tours. I was approached by Mount Washington, and they wanted to buy the company. And
Go Campbell River? Oh, sorry,
Snorkel
Tours.
Snorkel Tours. Yeah. And I went up there for a conference with the board of directors, which was really kind of cool in itself. And I said no. And the offer that they made me was a trade essentially for shares in Mount Washington and a permanent position on their management team. And I said no. And one of the things that Ted Foster, thank you, Ted, had said to me at that time, he said, Kath, would you rather have...
Is he a Mount Washington guy?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, him and George Stewart and Brian Stamp and whatnot. Anyway, he had said to me, would you rather have a small piece of a very big pie or a big piece of a very small pie? And at that time, I was just all about the control, you know, and not being very flexible with my business. And I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. Because Mount Washington had the resources to do what should have happened with that company. And I walked away from it. Essentially, I did sell it. I did sell it eventually. But when I think about that, I thought, Kath, just think what kind of a direction your life would have taken. If I had gone to work to Mount Washington and had a permanent placement in their management team, what I would have learned.
And when was that? That was...
2005 or 6, I think.
Yeah, so Mount Washington's definitely grown a lot since then.
Oh my God, yeah. Even
those shares, who knows how many times those shares have doubled or tripled, right? But
you
can't dwell on it, right?
Man. Oh no, I'm okay with that. Besides, I made some great friends.
And you learned from it.
I did,
right?
Yeah. And all the guys that were principals up there all became quite good friends. So that worked out really well.
Huh, cool.
Yeah.
So maybe in the long run it was better not to, but interesting. That's crazy.
It is better just because it is what happened. Right?
They would have. I wonder what they would have done with it. Like, such an opposite, right?
But
it's tourism
based. They wanted to expand
based.
their market from skiing
right.
to other things.
And that was probably when the snow wasn't that great.
No, and you know
I'm trying
what?
to remember because La Nina or whatever was 2001 or something.
And they were
big
also
snowfall.
they were trying to do a lot of different things. And I think that Brian had said to me at that time that they actually wanted me up there on the team because of my brain, the way I thought. He said, because you're going to walk up here and you're going to say, what about that? What about that? What about that?
Right, like break it down and
say,
question stuff.
Want to try some of this? Want to try some of that? So they're getting into that now, but quite a bit later, which is great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I have a sort of, a friend acquaintance who was a client, but he's what he does is he actually builds corporate businesses and takes them public without a business, and then buys businesses out. Not buys them out, but amalgamates so they can become publicly traded. But he also goes around and takes businesses and restructures them and like makes them better or turns them around.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. It's kind of almost like what it sounds like it interests you, right? Like
taking
a business is either failing or just needs to be restructured, and
they just want
something you'd be good at, maybe.
Brainstorm, eh? Just they get that brainstorming activity,
which is important.
Yeah.
Okay, off track here. What is your biggest accomplishment in your career, and what was your biggest accomplishment, or have you reached it yet? Yeah. What is your biggest accomplishment, if you've reached it yet? If not, what do you want it to be, I guess?
No, that's weird. I don't know.
Have you had one big accomplishment, like an aha moment?
Well,
or?
there's been lots of them.
Yeah.
You know, I can't say that I've had sort of this ultimate goal to push a company to worldwide standards or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, I think that my benchmarks have been smaller, but I've also been a single mother while I've done all this. So you do limit your
kids aren't that much work, are they?
No. No work at all. Yeah, they just sort of bring themselves up. It's just great. But now that they're older, they cook. Yay!
They cook for you, hopefully.
Yeah, they do. Well, it's one daughter, and she's a really good cook, so I'm not complaining. But
don't have a single big one. I mean, I think she's done some pretty cool things. Like
cool.
Those maps are pretty cool. If no one's seen them, I think they're in the visitor center.
Yeah.
We have a bunch in our suite downstairs at our house, and I advertised it. I'm in there. It's cool. It's got all the trails for all of the North Island. I think. Right? You want some of that water?
Yeah. Can I have that? Thanks. Sorry.
We'll share. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So, and I'm even guilty that I advertised in there, but I should go take some of those trails that I've never been on.
Yeah, you should.
I've done the Ripple Rock and I've done Elk Falls, obviously, and stuff. But
yeah, there's
tons
in
trails in there. And there's the canoe route, camping canoeing,
with all descriptions and everything else.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But I'm way too impatient to do something like that.
I'm in transition right now because I'm selling both those companies, and I'm going into permaculture. And I guess when you say what's my next accomplishment, my next goal is, I had a situation a couple of months ago that I looked at where we are and I thought to myself, I'm not doing enough for the planet. You know, I'm not supporting the talk about saving the planet. But I don't want to stand outside of somewhere with a sign saying, don't do this, don't do that. That's just, I really don't even see that it's being all that effective anymore. And so I thought to myself, what the heck can I do that's going to be a positive example for people to move forward and actually help what's going on with the planet? And I found permaculture. And I've always been a gardener, so it fits right along my lines. So I'm going full-time permaculture, becoming certified, and going to be doing permaculture design. So I'm really, really excited about it. You should see my backyard. Oh,
Let's go hang out with my mama on Hornby.
Oh yeah, I should actually.
She doesn't do permaculture, but she definitely gardens.
Yeah.
To a huge extent, it's crazy. I don't envy her. She works hard. It's crazy.
We got to get back into it. Well, this is the thing with permaculture. It's not nearly as much work.
Right.
But we've got to get back into it. And the reasons that we do, let me rephrase that. We don't got to. We're going to. It doesn't matter. To me, as far as I'm concerned, I don't care who you are. You're going to start gardening in one way or another because food is getting so expensive. And the more we have all these climate change disasters that are happening, like great floods and fires and droughts and everything else, your food, you're just going to see nothing but your food prices go up, 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 up. And when you're paying $8 for a head of celery, or last year where was that like $10 for a cauliflower head, that's going to become the norm. So local,
just for some vegetables. Yeah, that's crazy.
Local's going to become more important, and people will be growing their own stuff. It's all about food security. Yeah. And that's what permaculture is all about. And it makes it easy. It actually, after the initial stages of setting everything up, it's a system. So the system actually feeds the system. Yeah. So that's what...
I had this client that was looking at a place in Sayward, and he was telling me about aquaculture, where like it's like, I think it's kind of like hydroponics, but where the fish pond feeds the plants.
That would be permaculture.
That was interesting too. Is that permaculture? Okay, because he's a biologist, I think.
Yeah.
And his wife's a doctor or something.
Yeah, that's part of permaculture.
Yeah, so there's some interesting concepts out there for sure. What is your favorite memory of your career?
Okay, well, again, there's been lots of them, but there is one with the snorkel tours that have really stuck in my mind. We had a fellow book in a tour with us, and he had an accident. I guess it would have been about a year prior to that, and he was up in Kelowna. He worked on the railways, and the train had slipped its anchor, I guess, I don't know what the heck it does, and ran over his legs, cut his legs off. Now he laid there.
And he wanted to go on the tour, obviously.
Yeah, he had laid there apparently for a couple of hours, and the only reason he didn't bleed to death is because the train tracks were so hot that it actually cauterized the wound. So his legs were over there, and he's laying there with no legs. and had to wait for someone to come and help him. But he apparently was a real outdoors kind of fellow and had totally lost all thought of ever doing anything again.
Yeah,
and so he booked a snorkel tour because it was something he had heard about and always wanted to do. And a couple of days later, his wife phoned and canceled it. And then he phoned back and rebooked, and then she canceled it again, and then he rebooked it again, and then his wife phoned again and went, okay, you guys, are we taking him or are we not taking him? You know, he had no legs, so this was going to be a bit of a challenge in itself. So it was a really interesting day because they did come.
Yeah.
And his wife was so anxious. She was chain smoking the whole time. She's just like chain smoking, right? Like he's going down the river and she was freaking right out. We had a really difficult time with him laying flat in the river because he had no legs, he had no ballast.
Yeah.
So we had no problem getting the suits and stuff like that on him, but he kept on rolling over. So we ended up giving him one of the boogie boards. And he could keep his head flat in the boogie boards as long as somebody else also had one of the boogie boards. And the wife came with me. Jamie had taken him
in the boat.
Water. No, because we follow via the roads, and we had checkpoints on the way down the river to make sure everything was okay. And we went to the one main checkpoint, and he's like singing in his snorkel. You can hear him going by. He's like, yoo-hoo, yoo-hoo. So she kind of relaxed a little bit. At the end of the run, when he got out of the water, it was a challenge getting him out because you pick a grown man up out of the water.
Yeah.
I mean, they're heavy, and you couldn't get a wheelchair down there, so the boys had to carry him out. But yeah.
Crazy.
But anyway, he ended up doing the second run, even though he said that his stumps were really cold. His wife settled down for the second one, and about 3 or 4 days later, I got a phone call from her, and she said to me, "Thank you so much. I got my husband back." He had just ordered himself a Harley Davidson with a gel seat on it. And she says that he's got these prosthetics now he's getting, and he's planning on walking all over the place. And she says within a year he's probably going to be running down the road.
Yeah.
So that really
change in mindset, that he could do it.
It was really heartwarming for us.
Yeah,
you
cool.
know? And what a challenge. Holy cow. But that really stuck in my mind.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's cool. It's nice to know that you helped him get out of that rut and get going again, right?
We had quite a few disabled people come down the river with us.
I went down, so no, I'm not disabled. Shouldn't say that. Just slightly, maybe.
Self-debasing this guy, eh?
I went whitewater rafting with Jamie once, and what happened? I think I had pushed Liz in or something, and Jamie's like, "We're going under a spotted owl. Look, there's a spotted owl."
Oh,
and I look up and I'm gone into the water. But yeah, it's too. I was talking to him. I was asking about whitewater rafting this year, and he said that they couldn't do it because it wasn't. I don't know if he did any runs, but not enough water and enough snowpack.
Not enough water in any of the rivers.
Just too bad. It'd be fun to go.
There's lots of rivers that aren't even running right now.
Yeah,
at all.
Crazy. There's a Royal LePage event up in Kelowna, and there's supposed to be whitewater rafting in September. I don't know. I kind of wonder how good it's going to be, right?
Snowpack.
Where are we again? Is there any other professions besides this one that you are currently in that you would like to attempt or already have attempted or enjoyed? So obviously permaculture is one, but anything else?
Yeah. Well, I took the courses in permaculture this winter and decided that I'm going to go get certified. So
so
that'll be basically a design thing. I won't be building gardens. I'll be designing them and systems to run the gardens themselves. But I also am writing a book. Yeah, my friends have been bugging me for years and years and years
to write a book.
So I am. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
What's it about? Just everything? Experiences?
Yeah, well, sort of. No, it's going to be really different.
Yeah. Can't tell. Have you started it?
I started it. Yeah. I've got a long ways to go with it because I want it to be really good, but it's going to be called Jonathan Livingston Female. So it gives you an idea. It's going to be a little bit out there. It's sort of like in the Carlos Castaneda sort of genre, I guess you'd call it. I don't know.
Sorry, is it going to be fiction though, or like?
Oh, 100%. Well, fiction with a little bit of truth in it.
Yeah, because my thought if I was to ever write a book, I want it to be more about learning, but that's just my style, right? I don't read fiction stuff really.
Well, this is going to be all about process, particularly female process, and I think that
great.
It's going to be quite different in the sense that it's not a self-help book.
Right.
You know, you get so many self-help books, so you can get a gazillion of them. And
so some entertainment and some teaching, learning sort of stuff.
Maybe a little inspirational at the same time.
We'll find out.
But I write a lot because of the website.
Right.
I mean, I've I've written. Someone said to me, "Oh, you got to write a book." I says, "I think I already have."
Just pull it out of there and reiterate it.
Yeah, I've got a ton of writing that I've done over the years.
Yeah.
You know what? If the world were a perfect world and I had lots of money and I could do whatever I wanted, I would actually be rewriting Silent Spring by Rachel Carson. I would do a rewrite on that. But I don't have $1 million because that would take a great deal of professional research that I'm just really not even capable of doing.
Right. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. Who knows? Win the lottery and we'll have Silent Spring revisited. Yeah.
I'm really bad at losing my spot. How much do you feel the business has changed in the last 5 years? Sort of the way we sort of geared that question towards like marketing and social media and how to stay ahead of it all. I mean, do you...
Unless you are at it full time, you're not going to stay ahead of anything.
No.
Staying
with it.
How much it's changed in the last 5 years?
Yeah.
How about how much it's changed in the last 5 minutes?
It's true.
I mean, this is the way our world is going. My daughter right now is home from school. She's going to get her master's, and she's working at a job in Campbell River in artificial intelligence. That's how much things have changed. When she told me she wanted to get a job doing that specific program in Campbell River, I went, "You're out of your mind." Not at all. It took her all of a whole week to get a job doing that. And she's an electrical engineer, so it does make a difference. But that tells you how much things have changed. I mean, she doesn't have to be in Vancouver or Silicon Valley to be doing this job.
Yeah, which is huge for sure.
Yeah, but with business, God, I'm thinking about one thing in particular. I met a woman that in my gardening stuff, and she ran a commercial gardening operation that grows butter lettuce and what's that really, really nice herb that you use, basil. And she had taken all of her systems and not only automated every single system that she had, she also did it 100% earth friendly. She was completely off the grid with her gardens and her greenhouses. And it really amazed me, one of two things. First of all, it was way, way less expensive in terms of her running costs to be off the grid. Way less expensive. And her profit margins were higher and the quality of her produce was higher. And I thought, isn't that interesting? When we're so tied into artificial fertilizers and artificial that and get that heat pump going and put gasoline in it and stuff. She had none of that. She was even harvesting her own methane to heat her greenhouse. And I thought,
that's almost the opposite of using the changes and stepping back and keeping it
but the
simple.
thing is, she went back to the real world. Mind she was doing this hydroponically, right?
Yeah.
She went back to the real world in some senses, but she also technologized, I guess, her systems within the gardening itself.
Yeah.
So she mixed the two together, and I think that's where we've got to go, is mixing the two together, and not relying 100% on fossil fuels to do our job for us.
Yeah. Huh, cool.
And she's, by the way, on Salt Spring.
On Salt Spring. Nice. Long-term goals. What are your long-term goals? Do you know? I have a feeling you don't know, because I think you're going to go into permaculture, you're going to do it for a while.
How long is long-term?
Probably get bored of it. Maybe writing the book is your long-term. I don't know what you tell me.
How long is long-term? Well, for the next 5 years.
Permaculture.
Yeah, permaculture, but within the permaculture, I have a 7,000 square foot backyard, and I am currently working on building a food forest in my backyard. It's going to be the Enchanted Food Forest.
Yeah.
And so everything in that yard will be edible. Either that or it will be supporting edible plants. Things like bug extractors and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's going to be part of my goal. I want to also see what that looks like economically. And because of the fact that I'm going into permaculture, I need a showpiece. So that'll be my showpiece.
Right, to show how it's done.
That's the goal for the next 5 years. And I have a basement suite, which I'm probably going to turn into an Airbnb, which I'm working on right now. But I keep having all these students come and stay with me. There's no place to live in Campbell River.
No.
So the bedrooms downstairs just keep getting filled up over and over and over again. Okay, get out so I can do my renovations. No, I love having
rentals are in demand for sure right now.
Yeah, huge.
They're building lots more, but
but for students, they can't afford $1,400.
No, exactly. Yeah, it makes it hard for sure.
And be quite honest with you, I'm loving having them around.
Oh yeah, they're good students.
Oh God, they're great.
I was lucky when I did my pre-app here. I stayed with Nancy for free.
Oh, isn't that awesome?
A couple bottles of wine here and there, maybe.
Oh, that's even better.
I don't even know I did that. Maybe, hopefully, we'll say I did. Do you have any advice for someone who might be interested in starting a business or becoming a business owner?
Do your homework. Bottom line, do your homework.
I didn't do any research for that real estate.
There is no... Well, you got lucky.
I just did it. I just get her done.
There is no substitution for doing your homework.
My biggest fear, though, was I think people would have talked me out of it for something like real estate.
Well, you know what?
But I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with doing research. But
yeah. Well, you were fortunate too because you had money in your pocket, right? To do what you needed to do.
I don't know about that.
And that's another thing. And this is something that I noticed
a little bit
with what I have done over the years with all my businesses, with the exception of one or two small ones, because I've had a few, is underfinance, like being undercapitalized, and partnerships, strategic partnerships. I'm not sure that.
Underfinance, like making sure you have enough capital. Like not being underfinanced.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Because we always think, oh, you know what? Just for the sake of argument, I need $100,000. But that's your basics, what you need. You know what? What you really need is $150,000 so that you got that backup.
Contingency.
Yeah, contingency fund. Another thing is, and this is something that I don't know if it's absolutely necessary, but people say don't do partnerships. You know what I say? Do partnerships. Like if you can, one of the things about being in business by yourself is that the buck always stops with you, which means that if you've got something to deal with at 8 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night, you're on it, baby. You have no option. If you're sick or if your kid's sick or whatever the case might be, you're still on it. You still have that responsibility. Whereas if you have a partner, a couple of things. First of all, you can bang ideas around.
Yeah, so totally. And different, I think that's where different personalities come in together too, right? To work together, because sometimes if you're the same, you butt heads, right? But
that's huge.
That's where she helps me.
No kidding.
She's the gold.
Your partner can be your partner, your life partner
right,
as well,
totally.
You know?
But like you say, troubleshooting or finding a way to fix something, it's good to have other ideas always, for sure.
It's also really good to have someone to be able to say, listen, I've really got a bad flu. Can you handle it for me today? Or, just to be able to take that day off or whatever the case might be. But you also have to really look after yourself. If you don't look after yourself, no one's going to do it for you. So make sure that you are looking after yourself.
Yeah, that's important.
And that could mean things like exercise, the proper kind of food, whatever the case might be.
Yeah. Self-awareness.
I don't have any of that.
Self-help, what's that?
I have no motivation either.
Self-motivation.
I have no motivation.
Yeah, constantly learning, I think, is a huge one, and new ideas and stuff. So some lighter topics. I had another question I was going to ask you that I thought of, but I'm not sure what it was. What's your go-to meal when you go out for dinner? Or type of food you'd like to go for?
Sushi.
It's funny. I was thinking about sushi there, actually.
I have to really think about that. Sushi.
Where's your favorite sushi place in town? I think Roger said sushi too, or was it Brian?
There's a new one.
I don't know. Yeah, have you been there?
In the Kodos. No, I haven't been there. But
so what's your favorite that you've been to in town?
Well, Wasabi. It's right around the corner from my house, right?
Right, that's Muircroft, right?
Yeah, so I can walk there and drink sake.
They're good. They're always so busy if you got to get them at the right time.
Oh, yeah, you do.
But yeah, it's good there for sure.
So I phone and say,
you got it in at the bar?
I'll sit at the bar.
What's your favorite cuss word? Your favorite word or cuss word or both? Do you have a favorite word and do you have a favorite cuss word?
No, I read an awful lot, so I like to use big words sometimes, like to screw people up.
The ones that Robert won't even know what they mean?
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that. He had to Google it after the interview.
What does that mean? I don't really have a favorite cuss word.
No, you don't swear. You're really very ladylike, right?
I swear. I just don't do it all the time.
Okay. All good. What excites you right now? I think we already answered that, but what excites you right now?
Well, right now, because it's summer, I'm having a really great summer, and a lot of it has got to do with the kids coming to visit. My daughter was in school in Ottawa, and then she moved into Montreal for a while, and now all the kids that she went to school with, because she's been talking about BC all this time, and I know them all, I've met them all, so they've been coming out to visit, and I'm really excited about having them here. Okay, we have another one coming in on Saturday, and I'm just like, oh my God, Amina's coming, yay! It's going to be so much fun. Because I think that we get to show them off, right? We get to show off the area. Like
right.
We're going whale watching, and we're going, the girls are going on a helicopter tour, and we're taking them hiking, and we're going canoeing, and we're going to explore some places that I've actually never even been, so she can come on an exploration with me.
I guess it's nice to have someone else come because it gives you a reason to go do that stuff too, right?
Yeah, and I don't really need to be motivated, but it makes me feel good to take people out that are not as fit as I am. Yay.
Yeah. They can't keep up.
I like that. Because usually the people I hang with, I'm like behind them.
That would be me with my asthma. What are you looking forward to this year?
Going to school.
Okay, cool.
Believe it or not.
Does that start in September?
I can start at any time. There's some things I wanted to close up before I started it, and I think it'll probably be September because
Is it self-paced then, like self-taught?
Yeah, but it's online, so you've got your classroom online.
Right.
Yeah, and it'll be 28 weeks intensive, so I'm actually really looking forward to the learning part of it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get as much of a heads up on it as I can before I start,
And then just give her. Winter's a good time. You can just hunker down and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Winter's a good time because you can just hunker down and do it, right?
Hunker down and get it done. Yeah.
What is your favorite noise or sound, and what makes you cringe?
My favorite sound is the birds.
Oh, yeah.
I know that sounds really crazy, but somebody was talking the other day on Facebook about chickens, and you're allowed to have apparently 6 chickens in Campbell River. And the neighbor behind me had chickens last year, and he doesn't this year. And I really miss the sound of his chickens.
Really?
I do.
You can't hear them in your house, though, right? But you can hear them outside.
I sleep with my bedroom window wide
so you
open.
can hear
Even
them.
in the winter, it's wide open.
You can hear them, though? Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, they talk to each other in the morning. I mean, we're not allowed to have roosters.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have a rooster.
But they coo at each other.
I think actually one of our neighbor has chickens, but we don't hear them at all.
Oh, don't you? It's probably because where they are.
Do you hear them all the time?
Yeah.
Shut up, really?
I find it really soothing.
Well, I don't. The reality is Robert probably doesn't sit still long enough to hear them.
Yeah.
Let alone sit still outside on the back porch.
I find myself, even my girlfriend and I last night, we went for a walk to Gosling Lake. Ever been to Gosling?
I've heard of it. I'm not sure I've been there.
We went to Recce it out to do a paddle, what do you call it? SUPs, paddleboard trip there. It doesn't look like a very interesting lake to paddleboard. I like the ones that got the little islands and the inlets and stuff like that. But it was interesting to go there, and we're sitting there watching the lake, and all of a sudden the loons start calling.
Oh, nice.
And both her and I are just looking at each other going, wow. I mean, we were completely quiet, just listening to the birds, and all of a sudden
in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, God, they're gorgeous.
Cool. Is there anything I should have asked you but I didn't?
No.
Maybe, but not thinking.
I don't think so.
What about, who would you recommend that I interview next? Do you have any recommendations of a person? Not necessarily next, but...
What's your criteria?
We don't really have one. I mean, like when I first...
Heather Murphy.
Who's she?
Have you introduced her?
No, who's she?
Oh, she does Rain Coast Productions.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Oh, you would really like Heather. She's awesome.
I don't know what it is. What's Rain Coast Productions?
She puts on, I think, 2 or 3 productions a year, and their plays or dances or musicals. And stuff
okay, like at the theater or at the.
Yeah, they're usually at the Tide Mark.
Okay.
Usually,
cool.
you find her very interesting. Great.
Okay,
Awesome.
we'll check her out for sure.
Yeah. I could give you a whole list.
You can give me one more if you want.
Yeah.
It's always good because I mean, and some people don't want to do them or you
Fox.
don't hear back.
There's another one, Matthew Fox.
What's he?
He's a techno wizard.
Techno wizard?
Yeah, he was instrumental in getting Beach Fire Brewing going, and he also has Campbell River co-working space.
Oh, okay.
But no, he's a techno wizard. He's a programmer.
Yeah.
And he's doing all kinds of really interesting things.
Okay, cool. Yeah, those sound like some different ones, which is good.
Yeah. Well, that's because Matt
leave it
is
to you.
Young, he's energetic, he's smart, and he's really involved in community.
And technology stuff. Yeah,
and Heather's on the other end. She's like my age, been around forever. Family's been here forever, and doing something completely different than what he's doing. So
maybe you can help me with some better wireless microphones, so we don't have to mess around with that cord. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, and hopefully we had some people watching there. And thanks for watching, everyone. If you're there.
Yeah, thanks.
Cheers.
That's been fun. Bye, Robert.